The train lurched forward with a mechanical groan, its lights flickering slightly as it pulled away from the station. The usual shuffle of commuters filled the car, people lost in headphones, coffee cups, weary sighs, and glowing phone screens. But amidst the blur of morning monotony, there was one passenger who didn't blend in. Her walk wasn't tired in the way most commuters were, it was hollow. Her steps looked like borrowed motions from a body that had stopped trying to be alive and was now just pretending. She gripped the metal pole with both hands as she stood, eyes wide and blinking too often, as though the world in front of her was spinning slightly. Her clothes hung on her loosely, not from fashion but from neglect. A tattered bag weighed on her shoulder like she'd packed everything she had left into it. No makeup, no distractions. Just the raw imprint of exhaustion. Ethan looked up from his book the second she entered. He didn't know why, he never noticed people like this. But something tugged at him. Maybe it was the look in her eyes. Or maybe it was the way she didn't even look for a seat, as if sitting down felt like a luxury she didn't deserve anymore. A few stops passed. The train wasn't full, but everyone seemed too immersed in their own world to notice her swaying ever so slightly, blinking hard, and finally slumping into the empty seat next to him like her body gave up asking for permission. She didn't look at him. She didn't say hello. She just sat there with trembling fingers, clutching the bag on her lap, knuckles white. Then, without warning and without looking at him, she whispered, "I haven't slept in days." The sentence came out as if her soul had pushed it through her lips without asking her brain for approval. It wasn't a plea, not really. It wasn't even a conversation starter. It was a truth, naked, unfiltered, and terrifying. Ethan turned slightly. Her voice had cracked mid-sentence. Not from crying. She wasn't crying. She looked like someone who'd run out of tears long ago. "What's keeping you up?" he asked gently. She didn't respond right away. When she did, her voice was quieter than before, almost drowned out by the screeching of the tracks. "Hospice. My dad. Every time I close my eyes, I feel like I'm stealing time from him. Like if I rest, I'll wake up to regret." Ethan swallowed. The weight of her words sank in slowly, like thick smoke filling his chest. He thought of his mother, who'd passed away 3 years earlier, after a long battle with multiple sclerosis. He knew what those nights felt like, watching someone you love fade a little more each hour, wondering which goodbye might be the last. He shifted slightly, nudging his shoulder toward her. "You can rest. Just for this ride," he said. "Use my shoulder." She turned toward him finally, startled, not because of the offer, but because it had been so long since someone had given her anything without asking for something in return. She stared at him for a long moment, as if trying to find the hidden cost behind his kindness. "I'm not good company," she whispered. "I'm not looking for conversation," he replied, a small, calm smile on his face. "Just giving you somewhere to lean." She hesitated, then nodded, barely. Slowly, cautiously, she leaned into him. Her head rested against his shoulder like it was the first safe place she'd found in weeks. Her body, tense at first, began to soften. Her breathing, shallow and erratic, slowly fell into rhythm. She didn't sleep, not really, but she closed her eyes, and that alone felt like a victory. They rode like that for the next 20 minutes. Neither spoke. When the train pulled into a major stop and he had to get off, she sat up suddenly, blinking, startled. "I'm sorry," she said, as if she'd done something wrong. He stood, adjusting his backpack. "Don't be. I'm glad I could help." She nodded again, not trusting her voice. Just before he stepped off, he looked back. "By the way, my name's Ethan." She hesitated. "Maya." He smiled gently. "Take care of yourself, Maya." And then he was gone. She thought that would be the end of it. Just one small, forgotten moment on a random Tuesday morning. But the next day, he was on the same train. Different car, same time. She boarded, spotted him, and something in her chest fluttered when their eyes met. This time, she walked straight to him. "You're here again," she said softly. "So are you." She sat beside him without hesitation this time. They rode in silence again, but it was a warmer silence. A companionable one. When she leaned on his shoulder again, it didn't feel like weakness. It felt like peace. That became their rhythm. Every morning. Same train, same seats, same silent understanding. She started telling him about her dad, how he used to sing to her when she was a kid, how he called her Munchkin, even when she was 22, how it broke her to see him reduced to tubes and machines and soft hospital lighting. Ethan shared stories too. About his mother, about the fear and guilt that lingered long after she was gone. About how healing sometimes felt like betrayal, like moving forward meant forgetting. Their pain wasn't identical, but it was compatible. They understood each other in the quietest, deepest ways. Then came the day Maya didn't show up. Ethan's heart sank with every stop. By the time the train reached the last station, his chest was tight. He checked the next day. Still nothing. On the third day, she was there again. Her eyes were swollen. Her hands shook slightly. But her face was calm, too calm. He passed away, she said, voice like paper tearing. Ethan didn't say anything. He just held out his arm, and she leaned in without asking. Grief hit hard and messy. She disappeared again for a few weeks. When she returned, she was different. Grief had changed her shape. Not broken, just reformed. But she kept showing up. And so did he. Time passed. She started talking about school again. She wanted to finish her degree. Maybe go into counseling. Help others carry what she had carried. He encouraged her. Pushed her when she doubted herself. He had started painting again, she learned. Something he used to love but abandoned after his mom died. Maya asked to see his work. He brought her a small canvas one morning, wrapped clumsily in old newspaper. It was a painting of a train car, and in it, a girl asleep on a boy's shoulder. She didn't cry, but she clutched that painting like a lifeline. 1 year later, they sat on the same train. Same seats. You know, she whispered, smiling, I used to think I'd never sleep again. He looked at her. You sleep now. Better than I have in years. He brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. You gave me something that day, she said. Not just your shoulder. You gave me room to breathe. To stop pretending I was okay. You gave me the same thing, he replied. I just started it with a shoulder. She leaned on him again, not from exhaustion, but from affection. From trust. Sometimes, the most important stories don't start with grand gestures or perfect timing. Sometimes, they begin with a quiet whisper, I haven't slept in days. And sometimes, healing doesn't come in waves. It comes in stillness, in silence, in two broken people holding each other together. Not everyone notices the girl on the train with empty eyes. Not everyone offers a place to rest. But someone did, and it changed everything.